This is an interview with Mr. Charlie Williams for the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute's Oral History Project. I'm Dr. Horace Huntley. We're presently at the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute. Today is March 12th, 1997. Well, Ms. Williams, I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come and sit and talk with me today about your experiences in Alabama and in Birmingham.
Okay.
Where were you born?
I was born in the South Alabama, Black Belt County, down in Sumter County.
Sumter County.
Yeah, that's out in a little place called Cordoba, Alabama.
Okay. What was the name of it?
Cordoba.
Cordoba.
They got the name from the Indian years ago.
Okay. Were your parents from that area?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How many brothers and sisters did you have?
It's 7 of us in the family.
7 of you.
Yes.
Okay. And where were you in that? Were you the oldest?
I'm the oldest.
You're
Yes,
the
sir.
oldest.
Yes,
Okay. So you did a lot of babysitting.
Correct.
Yeah. In Sumter County, right?
That's correct.
What kind of work did your parents do?
Well, we was brought up on the farm.
On the farm.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
But my dad, he did sawmill work
Okay.
and did some construction work.
Right.
You know, as we was growing up,
Yeah.
and my mother, she was mostly in charge of farming.
Oh, okay. So you had a farm too?
Yes, sir.
Did your folks own the farm?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So most of the children then worked on the farm. All these children worked on the farm.
Yes, sir. We grew up on the farm.
What was that like? How was it like growing up in the rural areas on the farm?
Well, to me back then it was nice because we grew most of our food,
Yeah.
and we didn't hardly have to go to the store for nothing but the things that, you know, some things that you couldn't raise on the farm.
Mm-hmm.
But for example, like meal and meats,
Yeah.
vegetables, we all raised it on our farm.
And all that on the farm.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Right.
sir.
What do you remember about your early days in starting the school? Where did you start your first grade? You remember?
Yes, sir.
Where was it?
Oak Grove Elementary School.
Oak Grove Elementary
Yes, sir.
School.
It was across the highway. With those streets down that highway, across the highway. From our where I live.
Okay, how far was that from?
Well,
Was it a great distance?
no, sir. I just walked perhaps about a half mile across.
Okay. Did your mother and father, were they educated folk? Did they go to school in Sumter County?
They went to school in Sumter County, but my mother, I think she finished about 7th grade.
Uh-huh.
My dad, he finished probably about 3rd or 4th, something like that.
Mhm.
But they was
Yeah.
Wilson, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what all of our folk had at that time because most of our folk were not educated folk.
Right.
But they did have that mother wit.
That's correct.
Like my grandmother, I always said she never learned to read and write her name, but she was the wisest person I ever knew. Yeah. But that's the circumstances of time.
Yes, right.
When you then went to elementary school, what do you remember about your elementary days?
Oh, well,
School days.
it was fun. You know, we had fun getting my lessons. I didn't like school because I came out of I believe grade school when I was 10 years old. I believe about 10.
Okay.
I was kind of smart in school, but and then it was real fun. But I enjoyed my teacher.
Right. Do you remember any of the teachers?
Miss Wilson, Miss Diaz. By the way, they was from Birmingham.
Oh, yeah, right?
Yeah, they was from Birmingham.
But did they come?
They was every now and then with people. You know, they board down there while they taught school out there.
Right. Yeah. I've known quite a few people who have done that. My aunt, in fact, lived in Hale County.
Okay.
And she would go down all week and she'd come back home on the weekend.
Yes.
And where did you go to high school?
I went to high school in Sumter County Training School. That was in Livingston, Alabama.
Okay.
And we rode the bus from Cordoba to Sumter County.
Oh, okay.
training school.
Right.
And, cause, you know, the blacks had to ride, we had to ride, the colored people, then they call us,
Mm-hmm.
we had to ride a different bus than the white people. And we had to wait until their bus leave, get out of, all that complete out of the way before our bus come along to pick us up, take us to school.
Oh, all right. So the buses could not.
They could not,
move at the same
they could
time.
not pick up the, you know, the white and black could not be standing on the bus line at the same time.
So did your school start at a different time, or did you just have to leave earlier or later? Or what were the circumstances? Do you remember?
I don't remember that, but I know that we couldn't be on this bus line at the same time.
Why?
They bus have to be, wait a minute, I don't know which bus, but anyway, we couldn't
Couldn't
line
be
up
out there
at the same time. No, so
Well, was that because there may be some trouble? Was that ever explained?
then there was just like,
What did you think it was? Did you ever talk about that?
we never talked about it.
Is that right?
But I had a white friend back those days. We used to go to a movie. His dad and my dad were real good friends, and he used to carry me to the picture show. Well, no movie. We didn't call it a movie, called a picture show. And so I went one or twice. I went to sit down there with them. But he told me, say, Charlie, said, you have to go upstairs. And his son didn't understand that. I didn't either. But apparently somebody had said something to him about, you know, me being a different scholar than he was.
So did you ever sit down with him?
I sit down about once or twice.
Once or twice. And then the word got out,
Yeah.
and then his father came and told you had to
He goes upstairs.
upstairs.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, did that have, how did you feel about that?
It didn't affect me. I didn't know, you know, that was a way of life, I guess it was.
Yeah. So
But he
did you continue going to the show together?
Yes, sir.
And then he would sit downstairs?
Yeah,
and
he picked me up and, you know, dropped me off at night after the movie.
Okay. Were there others that went along with you, or were you
No,
just the two of you usually?
Yes.
Were you involved in any activities in school, extracurricular activities, like band or?
Oh, I was in the choir.
sports?
I was in the choir, and I was in we had a organization we called New Farm of America. Well, the NFA was short name for it. And I was vice president of that.
Okay. And what do you remember most about your high school days?
Well, it was nice. And that organization I was telling you, New Farm America, we had like a contest, like a state contest, and we would go to districts. We go to districts, and the winner there would go to the state.
Did you ever win any?
Yes, I won the district, and I went to the state. And I got sick, and I wasn't able to go to national.
Is that right?
I won the district and the state.
And the state?
Yes.
What did you do?
Well, we was asking a question about farming, you know, different that was the name of the organization. It was a farming organization. Yes, sir.
So it was like a question and answer.
Yes, sir, right.
Period. So that must have made your family very proud of you then.
Yes, sir, they were.
Now, did you finish high school in Livingston?
Yes, sir, in 1956.
In 56?
Yes, sir.
Then what did you do after high school?
Well, I wanted to go to college. My dad, now see, it's important to parent us now, but my parents didn't know, bless their heart, they didn't know how important it was to go to PTA. Because I wanted to go to college and they wanted me to go to college. But they thought I could just get out of high school and go to college, but just get up and go to college. But, you know, I was smart enough to earn scholarship, but my parents didn't participate in PTA. And they lived out in the country. We didn't have no transportation to go up to PTA, which is the students that around in Livingston, their parents were able. Some of those students weren't as smart as I was, but they got scholarships.
But you didn't.
I didn't get a scholarship. No, sir. I didn't. My parents didn't know to apply for me a scholarship. And so years later, I asked my principal. I said, I said, my brother's name, by the way, Mr. Jackson. And so he came to Birmingham. I was living here in Birmingham then. I said, Mr. Jackson, I said, why did I get a scholarship? He asked me, did your parents apply? I said, no, sir. He said, well, they should apply for you. But back in the country, we didn't know how to apply for a scholarship. Yes, sir.
And the councils in the school didn't do that either.
I didn't know nothing about no councils.
Oh, okay.
No, sir.
All right. So then what did you do then right after high school?
Well, I wanted to go to college, but I came to Birmingham to work and start college.
Okay.
But I got to Birmingham, started working, and I got involved with work, and I didn't pursue it.
Why did you decide to come to Birmingham?
Well, I wanted to try to get enough money to go to college with. But once that's another point too. If you start work, back then you start work, you get to taste that money you want to look. That's how I believe it's important that you don't lay out no high school or don't lay out of college for a year after you finish high school. Right. It's important that you go directly to college, and that will make you continue your interest. But years later, I did go to Booker T. Washington Business College.
Well, did you have relatives in Birmingham?
Yes, sir.
Before?
Yes, sir.
Who did you have?
I lived with I had my grandaunt and my auntie.
And when you came, did you live with them?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then you went to work. What was your first job?
At A&P.
And you came right in and worked for A&P.
Yes,
what did you do for it? What was your?
Well, they hired me as a porter. And
what is a porter?
A porter is just people that clean the store. I had to clean the store up and carry groceries. I carry groceries out also.
This is what, in 56?
In 56, yes, sir.
Okay. So that was the A&P that was right here downtown?
Yes, sir, 8th and 18th.
8th and 18th?
Yes, sir. That's north.
Right. And how long were you there before you started to move up?
Well, I was there, I don't remember how long, but it was during the civil rights.
During the civil rights era?
Yeah, and then we had a lot of protests and demonstrations around the city.
Did you participate in any of those demonstrations?
Well, I was working downtown, and the city hall was maybe about really a block from where I worked. Right. And a lot of the police knew me, for coming there shopping. And I would try to participate, but they'd tell me going back up there A&P, they sent me back to work.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, they just teased me, but I did participate.
So you would be down in the area of the demonstration?
Yes, on my lunch hour, on my off day, yes, sir.
Right, and they would tell you to go on.
I can see the civil rights marches, every day march. I can see them from where I work.
Right, yeah. Right. Did you ever attend any of the meetings?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. At the time, I was attending Booker T. Washington Business College, and I think back in '63.
Right.
And they used to give us bum dress at the Booker T. Washington Business College, and we would dismiss. They would turn the school out, and so I would go across the street. Most of the time, Dr. King would be speaking across the street at 16th Street. Yes, it was across the park, right?
Right.
And I used to go to him and speak, yes, sir. And at the time, my friend, some of these fish used to prepare the roads for Dr. King and the civil rights movement too. That's down here on St. James, was on 10th Street on those times.
What community did you live in?
Well, I lived in that area for a while, but most of the time I lived out in Pratt City. But my friend, she was living on 10th Street, and so some night we would sit on the porch, and we would hear the bombs go off on, you call it Dynamite Hill, on Fountain Heights area. Right. And we used to go up there and say, we going to the bomb tonight. We would tease about it, but we used to go up there.
Is that right?
Yeah, so.
What do you remember about that when you go up to, after the bomb had gone off, And you go up
Oh, when we go up there, well, sometimes we would see blood, see all the debris spread across the place. But what really got me one time, I had just bought me a 1963 Chevrolet car.
So, brand new.
Yeah, I bought a brand new, yes, sir. So that particular, we were sitting on the porch. I was still dating this young lady on 10th Street. And so we were sitting on the porch, saying, "Oh, we going to the bar tonight?" We heard the bar when it went off. I said, "No," I said, "I gotta go home." And so it was getting a little late, so I said, "Okay." And so during that particular time, the city had, I guess, the Bull Connell, and his crew had got the state to send the state troops up here to help control the civil rights movement, and so I was going home, but I had got the bomb had gone off, and so and I got up the street on 8th Avenue, just where you get to Parker High School, and I saw the car had started to, kind of bagging up, kind of getting congested, and so I was kind of turned off, and that particular time the state trooper, they was on the side of the, on the interstate. He pumped his gun and said, "Keep going there." And so I didn't have no choice but keep going. And I was going through the area, and they started hitting my car, and I said, "Oh Lord, my brand new 63 Chevrolet." They started hitting with rocks, and the black people did, but they didn't know that I was black. But thanks to somebody told me to turn your lights on the inside of your car, and then I turned my lights on inside of my car, and I got up here to I passed Park High School on Center Street, about that lap area there. So we was at a standstill, I couldn't move, and I saw a white guy with a gun on the top of his steering wheel, and he said, he recognized he was one of the maybe a civilian, a plainclothes policeman, and he recognized me. He said, "Charlie, what you doing out here in this mess?" And so I said, "I'm trying to get home." He said, Where you trying to go?" I said, "I'm trying to go to Pratt City." And he turned the siren in his car. And so I worked my way over behind me, and we finally got out of the way out of there. And this guy wanted to help me out of there. I guess you remember Val Lucio, the lady from
Detroit.
Yes, right. She got
That was killed.
Yeah, right. Yeah. He was the same guy in the car with them when
Oh, he was.
Yes, sir.
Was that the FBI?
Yeah, the FBI informed me. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I didn't know he was one, but
Yeah.
he helped me out of my crisis during that time.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's interesting. That
Yeah.
it should be the same guy.
Yes, sir. But I had seen him since then. I didn't see him no more since then. But I knew his name. I knew his children. I knew his in-laws.
Where did he live?
I'm pretty sure he lived on Fountain Heights. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, you lived in Pratt City most of the time in Birmingham
Yes, sir.
up to that time.
Yes, sir.
And well, what kind of community was Pratt City for you at the time? Coming in from Livingston to the city, and now living in Pratt City. How did that, how was that transition?
Well, to me, it was pretty nice because they had telephone. Down there, we didn't have no telephone. We didn't have no we didn't have no running water, and we didn't have no what else we didn't have? We didn't have no finally we got some electricity. Years ago, before I was a little boy, we didn't have no electricity there. We just used lanterns, kerosene lanterns. Yes.
Right.
But it sounded like I was doing good.
Yeah, you moved up in the world.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So it was okay.
Were there you ever encounter any incidents in Birmingham after you arrived here, racial incidents? outside of your job?
Oh, well, when I noticed when we was going, with, young boys, right, young boys, teenagers, I want to go out at night, and police stop you. Wasn't no black, white policemen in that area.
Right.
They'll stop you, and they'll tell you, if you ain't got no money, you're going to jail, boy. So we always kept $5 or $10 in my car, and they tell you lay it on the seat, and I laid it on the seat, for them to pick up. And that's the only way I didn't get on the police record.
How many times were you stopped?
Well, I was stopped a lot of times, but I got a little hip to the idea, what they was doing. And so sometimes they stopped me during the day. They ain't got so where they stopped during the day. And so they stopped me during the day. And they were stopping so many colored boys during those times, colored people during those times. And so I'll tell them, man, I just gave you some money back there, which wasn't true. But he said, okay, go ahead on there. So he was taking that record from the black people during that time. Yes,
you give them $5 and they let you go.
Yes, sir. Keep going. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know other friends of yours that encountered the same?
No, yes, sir. That was the way of life. Yes, sir. If you be out at 10 o'clock at night, you better have something to give the police, don't you? You go to jail.
That's
So I always kept in my car extra for that.
And they'd always tell you just put it on the seat.
Lay it on the seat. They would never take it in the hand. I don't know why they would never take it in the hand. They laid it on the seat.
But tell me about your experiences at A&P.
Yeah.
Once you got there and you started to work there, during the movement, prior to the movement, did you have any aspirations to be a clerk, to work on the register, or any of that? Was that possible?
No, sir. I didn't even think about that. Because back then, you knew, that the job would be pinpointed to a porter. They hired me as a porter, that's what. But they had another black guy back in the day. His name was Charlie Porter, and he got out in the picture. He couldn't poach for them, But other than that, I didn't. He was on the light that would be back in the day.
Was that right?
Yes, he passed away all years ago.
Yeah. Were there others that worked as porters along with you?
Yeah, well, I had another guy who worked as porter with me.
So there were two black guys that worked.
As porter.
And then
we weren't allowed back in the store. The only thing we were allowed to use the bathroom and get a drink of water. We had colored water fountain in the colored bathroom.
Yeah. So you say you never thought that you'd be able to move up in the store.
No.
So what changed that?
Well, during the civil rights movement, they was the freedom rallies coming, the city was occurring, and all that environment was going on in the area. So one day the manager called me over there, and he said, I might want you to work the cash register. And so I said, okay. And so he carried me over to the dairy department, but it's a little small. We don't know, no computer, just, everything was manual, done, manual cash register. So I worked over there at Wednesday, and the civil rights people, they got pretty hot on them. And so,
Did you know that was happening?
I knew what was going on, but I didn't know. I knew it was a matter of time, but I know they're gonna,
You didn't know that they were putting pressure on A&P at that particular time.
Yeah.
So it wasn't something that had been planned by you and SCLC.
No. It's the pressure of the civil rights,
Right. What was happening in the city?
Yes, right. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And so that Friday, years ago, it wasn't too many big supermarkets in the city. A&P was one of the largest chains in the city of Birmingham. Had a Hills, but he wasn't.
Right.
A&P was the nationwide.
That's right.
Organization, company, And so he told me, we gotta put you on a cash register. This evening, that was Friday, and the store was packed, and everybody swung And when they saw me got my little pan to get in my cash register, everybody swung out of all the other lines, and I had a line all the way back to the meat department of the store.
These were black people that were
Black and white.
black and white.
Yes, sir. I had a lot of good white friends during those times.
Mhm.
And girls, they gave me, I received a lot of good tips, man, from white and black.
Okay, so you get tips
Yes.
on the register?
No, I got tips when I was, doing
Okay.
before they moved me.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So that day then, when they saw you on the register, everybody
Everybody
wanted to come through your
got
line.
I got all the other people line.
Yeah.
Cashiers line.
Did you have any training before then?
That Wednesday. I think I checked the whole year, and I think I was 2 cents, out of balance for the whole year.
Mm.
So I think I did pretty good.
Yeah. Well, how did you feel coming from the position of porter to right into the cash register? How did that make you feel?
That made me I felt pretty good.
You thought that you deserved to?
I thought I deserved it because to me, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I like to talk to people. I enjoy people, black and white. I enjoy people, and some of the employees kind of just called me A&P Goodwill Ambassador. So, and I thought they said, a lot of white customers, they said I deserved a promotion.
Mm-hmm. So you were pretty well known around there.
Yes.
And therefore, when they put you on the cash register, there was no animosity. Whites didn't stop coming to the store.
No, sir. But the picture that that you saw, but I don't think they really wanted the white news press to get it. So they got Birmingham Times.
Mm-hmm.
They got Birmingham Times to print that because they didn't want to. I think it was really scared if I would lose some white business. I believe, I don't know, but I know one time during that time I was afraid to say something about it, but he was a customer. But yeah, we had some good customers, some customers that was some nice, some customers. By the way, I had one customer. I was sacking the grocery, and that was before they promoted me to cashier. And she told me, say, get away from my grocery, Martin Luther, I don't want you to sack my grocery. So she had caused a big commotion, everybody was looking. And so, but then I had one guy that spit in my face, but I didn't say nothing about it because I was afraid I'd lose my job.
Mm-hmm. So there were some instances where people did not like you being in that particular role.
Yeah.
And you suffered some indignity as a result of that. Were those the only two that sort of stand out in your mind? Were there any others?
Well, my pay wasn't the same as I found some white, they would kind of have with somebody else, Sarah and my Sarah wasn't the same as their Sarah, so that kind of hurt me too, I was working hard as they were and wasn't getting the same pay as they were, and it kind of affected me, so, yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever approach anybody about your pay not being equal to other cashiers?
Afraid to.
Mm-hmm.
Then one time I was wanting to go to watch the business card, and I was running across there I had to change clothes. I was going to night school, so I had to dress, I had to, bring my boots and change clothes to work. I would rush to change clothes and, get them a little fresh up and go to school. And my manager, he stopped me when I was running across the parking lot when I hit school, because school was, I leave sometimes I would run to school from
from work block.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. And so he asked me, he said, you make your mind where you want to work for A&P or you want to go to school. So that was kind of down. I couldn't afford to lose my job, so that was kind of like a.
So did you have to quit school?
I had to quit school. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What were you going to school for?
Business administration.
And he said either the job or school had to go.
Yeah.
Well, when they took you off of Porter, did they hire somebody else to replace you?
Well, they upgraded everybody during after that because the civil rights was kind of hot on them, and so they hired somebody else to to do the job I was doing, but they didn't have that support. They did away with the porter position. I believe they did.
Oh, they did? Okay. Well, then, there were two of you that were porters when you first started doing that. So, was the other one moved up to cashier as well?
They transferred him. I think eventually they put him to cashier.
But not at the same time.
Not
You
the
were
same.
the first
But
cashier. And
Yes,
then did they put him in another position?
when they moved us up again, they moved him and I both to a produce manager. I moved from cashier to a produce manager. And when they first it was cashier, then they said, well, you got to promote, a better position than a cashier. And so they put me in charge of the department. I was the produce department head. And he got a job named Robert Lane. He got a job as the produce manager. Also, he's one of my best friends.
How long did you stay at AMP?
26 years.
26 years.
Yes, sir.
So, as time passed, this was in 1963 when you first got this job.
Yes.
As time passed, did the circumstances becoming better? Did you ever get a move up from manager? Was there a possibility of you moving to other areas within the store or even within the company?
What they did, they had some more, when they broke this barrier there, they had some more lights and to fill the position. So I stayed produce manager until the company closed in 1980.
Okay. And then what did you do after that?
Well, I've been busy for myself.
Oh, okay.
No, I went to work for another company, but they started me off at $4.25 an hour, and I was making, real good as a produce manager with A&P. And it seemed like it was back to the old mill again.
What company?
What's I saying?
You talk about AMP.
I went to work at Western Supermarket.
Western Supermarket.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And then I started working twice as hard back to
And they didn't start, what did they start you?
$4.25
What position?
as a assistant I was just an assistant in the produce department.
Oh, okay. So they didn't put you back. You already had the experience as
Yes,
being the head of that department, but they put you at.
And
Well, was the person that you worked for, was he black or white?
he white. Oh man, he was French.
They was.
I went to work and I worked hard. And he saw that I tried to do my job better, and more sad because sometimes I did extra stay long, and sometimes but the boss man would get on him after I stayed long to get the work done, and he would come and jump down my throat like I didn't do nothing, and so one day I got real angry. This after A&P closed. This was in the 80s. After A&P had closed, so I said, now Joe, his name was Joe. I said, Joe, now I did work, and I said, a lot of stuff I did, and so I got pretty hard in the place because of the getting the idea that it was going back to made me remember the old days.
Right.
And so I said, the manager come and say, go home. Told me to go punch out and go home. And so I punched out and went home. And so he said, go home and cool off. Because I was hot. I wasn't ready to fight, but I was letting him know that I didn't like what he had said and had, told the higher up what I didn't do. And so that Monday, he told me to go see the personnel manager. And I went over to the personnel manager, and so I went over there and I believe they moved this guy. I'm pretty sure they moved him out of the position because they knew that I was trying to do my job. They knew I was trying to do my job, but they moved him out. So I said, you go back over there, we're gonna have some ass over there. But I turned around and asked him, I said, are you gonna pay me for my time of business? Because I had a family and I couldn't, that's $4 a quarter, it wasn't that much money, but I needed it. And he said, no, I said, well, you sent him home. Said, you sent me home. And I say, I didn't start it. He the one started about me. He said, well, I did it to save your job. So I worked up a while, then I went to business for myself.
Yeah. Where was that? Was that one on the south side?
Sir,
Was that the Western supermarket on the south side?
that was supermarket in Rocky Ridge, on Rocky Ridge.
Rocky Ridge.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. So, were you still living in Pratt City?
No, I was in Norwood then.
Norwood?
Yes,
And you were commuting every day back and forth to
Yes, sir.
Rocky Ridge. Mm-hmm. And then you went into business for yourself?
Yes,
What kind of business?
I went in I ran a fruit stand myself then.
Mm-hmm. So was that more rewarding?
I enjoyed it, but I had my crisis also. The drugs started coming in the neighborhood. I was doing good until that occurred. You know, I was doing real good. I liked it. You know,
Was that in Norwood?
No, it's in on Druid Hill. I was doing good until the drugs started coming in, and I just, you know, and it's worse. Got worse. It was worse than the civil rights because they, you know, blacks on blacks up there, so that was even worse to me in a way, you know.
So that has really changed the whole system then. Once you got into your own business, and then the community started to deteriorate to some extent.
Yes, sir.
Then that adversely affected your ability to continue in your business.
Yes, sir.
So today, are you still in business? Are you retired now? Right?
I retired. Yes, sir.
You retired from.
Well, I retired from my AFP, and I get a disability. I get a disability because my legs they don't hold as good as they used to now. Yes, sir.
I don't think yeah.
I had those bad veins in my legs. That's right. Come
You
out.
spend a lot of time on your feet.
Yes, sir. And on the concrete. Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us? Because you really enlightened me in a number of areas.
Yes, sir.
In terms of work, in terms of just coming up from a rural county to an urban county, and seeing how you actually made ends meet in effect.
Yes, sir.
And then to see how you went into your position at A&P and moved up.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time that you were doing it, this is at the same time that the movement was on. That was one other thing.
Yes.
You were here in when 16th Street Baptist Church was bombed.
Yes, sir. In fact, I was my wife and I, we was headed down in Livingston, about my hometown.
Mm-hmm.
And a bulletin came on WVOK. There's a white station. We get them a long ways out of town.
Mm-hmm.
And it said 16th Street has just been bombed. And that was around 9 something that morning. I said, oh Lord, that's up there about where I work.
Mm-hmm.
And when we came into town, by the way, my wife back then she real like complexion.
Mm-hmm.
And so they stopped, they would stop and they was mad.
So these were police.
Yeah.
Okay.
They stopped me and tried to, they checked me was checking they want to try to drive like, but they mostly wanted to know where she lived because she was real light complexion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they think she was white.
They thought she was white, so I guess that's what it was because she said, what, did you notice that? It was nighttime, they were shining light on her more than they were me because she was light complexion. Mm-hmm. And so I just, we was wondering, they thought she was from the white area,
Well, you were probably fortunate then that they realized that she was not white. And you would probably, you wouldn't be sitting here talking about it.
Yes, sir. But I like to encourage the black people. It's not the white folks no more. It's us black. Mm-hmm. We got to start to doing. I don't know how to phrase it, but I'll tell you, our neighborhood It's just, that's why a lot of better class of black people leaving the neighborhood, well, trying to give it to white again. Because our black people, we don't know how to treat each other. Most of us, we don't know how to treat each other. And and I used to be scared of the Ku Klux, but now I'm scared of my own people. It's sad, but it's true. It's true. And until we learn to do that, it's just it's not getting. It's just, to me, it's real sad. It's sad that how we doing each other. And I think the drugs and gangs are one that play a major role in how we treat each other. And I think if some of us black leaders would come along like Dr. King, I don't know how. I don't think there'd be another one of them. You know that. But if somebody would come along and spearhead an organization and say, "Listen, black men, you're leaving here," and we are, not by the white people, by ourselves.
Well, Ms. Williams, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule.
Yes, sir.
Very helpful, and maybe some later date we get a chance to sit down and talk about it a little bit more.
Yes, sir. Okay. Well, thank you for having me down here.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. Okay. Okay, thank you, sir.
Before we end, tell me about your children. How many children do you have?
I have 4.
4 children.
Yes.
How old are they?
Oh my goodness, good question. I have one 30 and one 31. 20, excuse me, I'm sorry, 30 and 29.
Okay.
And Charlene Williams, she's my oldest daughter, and she's electrical engineer. She's very smart. She didn't have to pay nothing to go to school. She's straight A.
Electrical engineer.
Electrical engineer. She over in Finland now.
Finland?
Yes, sir.
Is she in the military?
No, she kind of invented like a computer system, and she had to go there to present it for the company that she worked for. Yes, sir.
That's great.
Then I have Renee. She's my second one. She's in the military. She's in the Navy, and by the way, I want to see her end of the month. She's up in Illinois, Great Falls, Illinois. Then I have John Michael. He's my musician. He's 17. His birthday was last week, by the way. He's 17. And he played for a church. And he's musically inclined very much. And he played the organ, piano, cello, keyboard, and saxophone. He's in school marching band also.
What school?
He goes to Parker High School. Then I have my baby, Tiffany. She's a gift. She's in gift school over there at Christian. She's straight A. She enjoys playing basketball, but she's smart too. Then I have a grandchild also. Her name is Lisa, and she's smart also.
Sounds like you have a very talented family.
Yeah, I'm sorry that
And I know that you're very proud. I can see your chest sticking out.
I'm very proud of them. I wish that somebody would, my parents, they didn't know, bless their heart, they didn't know how to pursue like we are doing, my kids and my grandkids, how to go, attend PTA and go to all the band boosters or whatever, involvement in your school activities at school. It helps out. So I'm going to tell all the parents who got kids, make sure that your kids in school participating in whatever they say they have at school, and you don't know, because when you come home, sometimes the kids, they don't know how to explain to you what happened. But if you go to school, you'll learn a lot, and you can get your children on these programs. So when they finish school, so they can go for better education.
Right. I think our parents did the best that they could with what they had.
Yeah,
And we have to relearn from them.
Yes, sir.
So we can just pass it on.
That's why.
You have obviously
Yes, sir.
good job.
Yes, that's what I want to tell everybody that see me, explain to them that it's very, very important for you to do that. make sure that you attend your activity, that your kids are involved in school. They're not involved in not that school. Go, get them involved, and it pay off in the long. I've learned that since I've been raising my kids. That's
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Yes, thank you. Okay.